Next question was, how do I know if my soul made a pre-birth decision to have the challenges that I'm experiencing? For example, how do I know the illness in my body wasn't a pre-birth decision that I just need to accept versus trying to get rid of it? That's a really good question. However, I'm just taking a moment to look at the question and to feel in what wants to be shared around that. So whether the illness in your body was a pre-birth decision or something that was manifested through some kind of energies at play in physical form is actually irrelevant to the experience itself, because what you said here is that I just need to accept versus trying to get rid of it. Anything that's happening in life that we're fighting with, we're in resistance. So it doesn't mean I want to be unhealthy or I want these things to play out in my body. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means I'm going to be at peace with what is, glean from it what I am here to glean from it. Whether it was a pre-birth decision or not is irrelevant. It's here. It's an experience that is unfolding. How can I find my way back to peace in the midst of it? How can I find my way back to how my pure consciousness perceives this in the midst of it? I'm sure some of you have encountered, if only in video format or story format, people who are terminally ill for whatever reason. I don't like that term, terminally ill. We're all terminally ill. Did y'all know that we're all gonna die? We're all gonna die. We're all terminal, right? But if somebody has, they went to their doctor and the doctor did the voodoo curse. That's what Joe Dispenza calls diagnosis, and given how much time to live, because the doctor put the voodoo curse on you and now you accept it as your own. But the doctor says, okay, you got 2 months to live. And there are people who would go into a tremendous amount of turmoil over that. And there are other people who would go, what's the most I could do in this world as a result of that? And their focus is not on the illness. Their focus is not on what is playing out. And again, as we said in other places, let's go inside of this, right? Okay, so the 5 premise, my focus is my superpower. I can affect my inner and outer world by using the power of my focus. You're inside of a body that in the current moment feels pain. And it's hard to not focus on the pain, right? You're feeling the pain, it's intense, let's just say. All right, I'm making this up, but let's say you're in the body, the pain is feeling intense. You can choose in that moment to just breathe and to focus on your breath, because your focus is your superpower. And when you focus on your breath, more peace seems to come. Even in the midst of the pain, more peace can come even in the midst of the pain. And you can even start saying that to yourself. More peace can come even in the midst of the pain. I can choose peace even in the midst of this. Why are you saying that? To shift your focus. To shift your focus and to choose peace in the midst of it. I can choose peace in the midst of this. I have the ability to choose peace in the midst of this. My inner peace comes from within. You could start saying things like that to yourself. My inner peace comes from within. My inner peace comes from a place within me where source energy abides. That's where my inner peace comes from. And I can choose to be at peace from within. I can choose to be at peace from within. I can choose to see from the perspective of source that all is well despite the pain that I'm currently feeling. I can choose from the perspective of source to see that all is well despite the pain that I'm feeling. I don't have to worry about when this is going to go. I just have to know that I can choose peace in the midst of this. I don't have to worry about whether it's going to be here for 2 months, 3 months, forever. I can choose peace in the midst of this. I don't have to worry about where this is going to go and if it's going to get better or worse. I can just choose peace in the midst of this. And these are things that you could just run through your mind, right? I can choose truth versus illusion. Illusion says I'm not okay. Truth says I am okay, even in the midst of this. Illusion says things are something I did wrong. Truth says I am innocent as I am. I am source energy as I am. I am choosing to focus. I'm choosing to focus on the source energy that I am. That's the truth that I'm choosing to focus rather than the temporal human body. I am choosing to focus on my nature, my true nature, the peace, the truth, the love, the light that I am. You can take your mind all the way there in a mantra, in a repeated mantra that lifts you even in the midst of pain. And it doesn't matter as much how long it's going to last, when is it going to end, etc. You choose peace. It's like Michael Singer, this is unfolding in front of me right now. So what's unfolding? Well, I guess a little pain is unfolding in front of me right now. And I can choose peace in the midst of this. So I hope that helps. Feel free to ask a follow-up question. Moving on to the next question. I guess. This is where I wanted it. So the person asked, how do we genuinely feel peace in the midst of something we truly do not prefer? Right? So, and this may answer some of the other questions coming up, but I'm going to offer something that I call a triple layer of peace versus a triple layer of suffering. And here are the 3 layers for any life situation. Bring it up in front of me here. So for any life situation, we can create a triple layer of peace or we can create a triple layer of suffering. And the layers are our perception of what is happening, our perception of the emotions that are arising around it, and our perception of ourselves regarding the entire experience. So let's break that down a little bit more. So a triple layer of suffering starts with labeling the problem. And we talked about that earlier. If you have any kind of illness in your body, drop the damn labels. That's just what doctors call it. Drop the damn labels. I have misalignments in my body. I don't care if it's like 16 different diseases. You just go, I just have misalignments that I'm bringing back into alignment. What a statement of power, right? I have misalignments in my body and I'm bringing them back into alignment. Just keep saying that to yourself. I have physical things going on in my body and I'm bringing them back into alignment, right? Okay, so triple layer of suffering looks like this. It starts with labeling the problem. You label it with a disease, you label the person a narcissist, you label the person a bastard, right? You put in all these labels on it. So you're suffering already because your perception is they're worth anger. They're worth anger, right? Because you put a label on it, right? The second layer is you feel the emotion, right? And you give it a negative thing. I'm so angry. I'm suffering so much. Another layer. So it's one thing to give it a label. Now you have an experience of anger and you're labeling the emotion as well, right? And to you, it's a negative emotion called anger, irritation, or whatever. And then the third layer of suffering, I just remember that I'm supposed to be spiritual. So now I have a negative reaction to my negative reaction regarding the negative thing, right? See the layers? I label it negative. I feel it, what I perceive to be a negative emotion, and then I feel bad about the negative emotion because I'm supposed to be more spiritual. 3 layers of suffering going on, right? Here's the opposite of that, which is a triple layer of peace. Triple layer of peace starts with not labeling the experience because all of life is just a series of moments unfolding. All of life is just have y'all noticed that if you're sick and you get healed, something else happens, right? If you don't have money and money comes, something else happens. We have signed up for a life that includes contrast. And at some point, we just got to accept that. That's what we signed up for. Rather than chasing the illusion of getting rid of all contrast because I get spiritual enough and all contrasts disappear. That's not going to happen in an earthly lifetime. Contrast will always be a part of our experience. How we respond to contrast and how we experience contrast, we have a tremendous amount of ownership over, and we can affect it in a lot of positive ways. So a triple layer of peace says, life's just unfolding. Oh, here's another thing, right? And I don't know if it's because I'm turning 59 years old this year, but I look back on the 6 decades of worry and I realize when I got done worrying with that got solved, and then I started worrying about this, and then that got solved and I started worrying about this, and then that got solved and I started worrying about this. And at a certain point, and I don't know if it takes 6 decades to get there, but at a certain point you start to go, I'm just going to accept that everything's going to be fine. This is just life unfolding. So let's just say today you woke up, you go to the doctor says, oh, you have this diagnosis. He casts his voodoo spell on you, right? And you go, thank you. And you walk out and you go, that's not a label that I'm accepting. I have a little misalignment in my body. Things are unfolding. It's fine. It's going to work itself out in whatever way it wants to work itself out. Because life is just a series of events unfolding. Always a series of events unfolding. One event gets done, another event arises. Another event gets done, another event arises. It's just, that's life. It's just an ongoing series of events. So layer of peace number 1, life is just a series of events. I don't have to label it anything. Layer of peace number 2, when you feel that the energy that's coming up, anger, resentment, disappointment, blah, 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 you just go, ooh, energies are rising. You don't even give it a label, anger, resentment. You can if you want to, but it's not really necessary. So you go, ooh, I'm feeling a lot of heavy energy around that. That's really energy moving, right? So you choose to explore it rather than resist it. So in the triple layer of suffering, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so angry, right? You're focused on the anger. In the triple layer of peace, the second layer is, wow, feeling a lot of energy in my body around that. Let me explore what's happening within me there. You become the witness of it. You're busy witnessing. You're not busy grappling with what's going on. You're busy witnessing, right? And even if the emotion is intense, even if the anger is intense, even though it's dense, you still choose peace, and the peace comes from the witnessing. So you don't label it and you witness it. It's just energy moving. And if you're not pulled into it, because we get so intoxicated by the story, right? If you don't get pulled into the energy, then you have more opportunity to just be the witness of it, right? And when you're the witness of it, that's your triple layer of peace. And that goes back to your peace is not disturbed by the character's experiences. And now when I have experiences, I go, look at Allison. Okay, girl. Okay with the anger. I haven't felt anger in a while, but okay with the agitation. Look at you. And I will talk to myself like that. Like, I'll look at you, mind. Mind is really acting up right now, And I will just be the witness of what's happening. Be the cameraman. Look at you in this moment. This is very interesting. What can we explore here? And I become curious about what can be explored rather than getting entangled in the story that's unfolding. So that's the triple layer of peace versus triple layer of suffering. Hope that makes sense.
Hey everyone, I'm just popping in at the end here to put in a summary of what I just covered, which is a triple layer of suffering versus a triple layer of peace. I thought the triple layer of peace summary may be helpful to some of you if you want to take a screenshot of it in your own process of reprogramming your response to life. Referring to this may be helpful. Also, remember to take what resonates and discard what does not. Do always check in with your own inner guidance above all else. And I will be uploading a few more segments of this live Q&A event shortly, and I will be adding them to my Q&A playlist here on YouTube. I'll see you soon. Bye.